Hey guys, welcome back to Vice. I am Quinn, and today I'm stoked because we are installing our brand new Mod V2 high clearance bumper on this Ram 1500. Let's get into it. So here, guys, is our high clearance Mod V2 bumper. The Mod, short for modular, we're one of the first companies to offer the multi-piece design rear bumper, which has some advantages. It makes it easier to assemble. It ships right to your door. And we've got this one finished in our tungsten, which is a gunmetal metallic powder coat. It's powder coated in a multi-stage process with high temperature wash and degrease, zinc base coat, and then topped off with this beautiful tungsten finish. It's also offered in a textured black, which matches kind of like the factory Rebel look. Super strong finish and looks fantastic either way. We're also going to install our slimline high clearance light bar kit, which features two 8-inch slimline light bars with a combo lens. These tuck up right in behind the bumper, out of harm's way. So we're gonna head over to the truck and get right into it. First step, we need to get the factory bumper removed. We've got the truck up on a hoist here to make it easy to see what we're doing, but this entire job can really be performed right on the ground or on your driveway. So I've gone ahead and removed the spare tire. Allows you to see everything on the backside of this bumper a bit easier. Job can be done with it in place. Tools to remove the spare, if you choose to, are underneath the passenger seat in your truck. First step is to remove the wiring harness that attaches to the rear bumper. That is up here above the exhaust. So to remove the rear bumper harness, there is normally a yellow tab here. It has seemed to have fallen out. You're gonna pull that out that direction towards the rear of the truck, which will free this red block. And this slides out like so. And once that little red tab there hits the gray bit, this connector will be free. And it comes apart like that. So pat yourself on the back because that was the hardest part of this installation. It's all from here. Next step is removing the fasteners that hold the bumper on. There are two on either side of the frame and two behind the license plate. So on this truck it's 16, I've ran into 18 mil before, 16 mil wrench. We are going to loosen these fasteners, top and bottom. Just leaving the thread on a little bit, that way the bumper doesn't fall off when you go to remove the other two. So the last two fasteners are tucked in behind the license plate. So with the 10 mil, pull the factory fasteners out, which exposes two fasteners right there. So these ones are 16 mil, just hold the bumper against the frame. And remove those there. You can now remove the safety nuts holding the bumper on. Get those off. And then remove the bumper from the truck. And just lift the bumper off, making sure the harness doesn't get snagged, and place it down on a nice area to work on it. So next we need to remove the harness that transverses the entire bumper from this bumper. So clip pry tool works great, or a screwdriver to remove these clips from the bumper. Nice little ASMR. And we'll go across the bumper, do that. We also need to remove your parking sensors if equipped. So we just depress those two tabs there and press the sensor from the front side of the bumper. keep the sensors attached. Less things to keep track of that way. So this is a limited, so it has 6 sensors. Yours may only have 4 or none. If equipped, remove your passive entry antenna from the back of the bumper. Slightly awkward to get to, but 7mm wrench, and just walk these fasteners out. Lastly, remove the 7-pin trailer connector and the 7-pin connector from the bumper by depressing those tabs, and it comes out like that. So with all the clips popped off, our harness is free. We'll set that aside. And then the last part we need to pillage from this bumper are the factory license plate lights. They're held in with a 10mm fastener. And so just remove that and then remove the lights from the bumper. And those are all the pieces that we need from this bumper. So we can just get rid of it. So now if you purchased our Slimline high clearance reverse light kit, it's now time to install in the rear bumper. It installs in this nicely radiused section in the rear bumper here, held in place with tabs built into the bumper on the backside. Get them finger tight, and then make sure the light is centered in the bumper. So set the wing sections aside and grab the center. First thing we're going to do is install our trailer plug into it. A couple small modifications to make. So our bumper is obviously quite a bit thicker than the thin, flimsy factory one. So we just need to bend these tabs out a little bit. So I literally just take a little flathead screwdriver and give it a little extra bend. So until we have about, between 1/8 and 3/16 of a gap between there. Then we are going to remove this. If you just pry that tab up and then push this out, that slides out, and we'll do the same for the other side. Now we're going to take our 7-pin, insert it into the bumper like so. Take the silver tabs removed, slide it back into the bumper. So we're going to take our supplied 3/8 carriage bolts, slide them through the square slots in the wing. This is going to be mated to the center section like so, and then retain it in place using the 3/8 flange nuts. Get these all going on all 4, and then do it on the other side. These 2 sections are slotted so they can allow for some alignment. I generally will reference this edge here to begin with, and once that's tight, snug it up. You can flip the bumper over, make sure all the lines line up, and reassess. And then we'll just snug these down with a 9/16. Nice thing about the carriage bolt is you don't need 2 fasteners. Another nice little assembly process. So next we're going to install the factory LED license plate lights. They slide in from the front face here, line up with these tabs here. Quick check is that the plug is facing the back side of the bumper. These can be retained in place using the hardware we provide, or if the factory hardware is still in good shape, you can use that as well. So next step is to get our sensors in place. So we provide factory bezels, which snap right into the bumper. This is how we guarantee your sensors are going to work if they did before. So orientation does matter. So these clips need to be top and bottom, and they just insert into the bumper as shown. For any sensor holes that you don't use, we supply these plastic plugs that are very thin, and they just snap right in place for a seamless look. So this is what definitely separates our high clearance Mod V2 rear bumper from other bumpers out there that I've seen. Other manufacturers have you zap strap your sensors in place or scrape out your existing bezels that don't have the same curve and get them to glue them in place. So epoxy is just not going to last, especially where we are in the Pacific Northwest. So this is a nice secure connection, and yeah, keeps everything working and functioning like factory. So now we're going to thread the factory harness through the vice bumper, remembering that the plug that we disconnected is on the driver's side. So if you're working reverse, just make sure you get it on the right side. Luckily, the 7-pin will dictate that if you get it backwards. So taking the passenger side first, I'm going to route these sensors through the harness, or sensors through the bumper, I should say. We've got slots to do that. This sensor, you can give it a little clean, plugs right in there, noting that there is a small notch, there it is there, that lines up with the notch in the bezel. And these will just clip in place, and just make sure the seal there is seated properly. Just gonna have to redo that one slightly. Pop it out, pop it back in so it's not pinched, and a nice seamless look there. Now, not all vehicles have this 6 sensor. It might just be a plug there, and work your way around. Reconnect the license plate light, and then along here we have not only drain slots so water doesn't pool in the top of the bumper, but it's perfect for strapping the harness to the backside right there. So just get some zap straps and tie it around and cinch it in place there. Last thing to attach is our antenna for passive entry. This fastens directly to the bumper. We have an allocated spot right here. Don't have to zap strap it up out of the way like some others do. Use your number 10 hardware provided and just insert it through the face of the bumper and rotate it in place with this nut and tighten down with a 3/8 wrench or socket. The very last part we have to wire up are our reverse lights. That's super easy thanks to our 7-pin adapter kit that we make, which comes with the high clearance rear light kit, and that plugs directly into the 7-pin. And then this connector plugs directly into the adapter. To connect the lights to the harness, we're using the supplied splitter. So these 2 male connectors tie into the lights, and this one goes into the adapter. With that done, we'll zap strap everything nice and clean and show you what it looks like after. So grab your heavy duty bumper mounts and your M12 carriage bolts, and we're going to install these from this side into this slot. Take your M12 retaining washer, slide it over top, and then grab a 5/8 or a similar socket and just press that into place. This holds it in place when you put it on the vehicle. Acts like a stud. Next, we're going to install these on the bumper. So this slides right there, and all those 3 holes line up. This bracket is held in place with 3 M12 carriage bolts, inserting it on that side, and then retained in place using a M12 flange nut. We go in through the back side. So the threads stick through there, rotate to make sure that the square lands in the hole. Tighten these 2 fasteners first, and this fastener last. So now with the help of a buddy, lift and slide the bumper in place. And we just need to feed this connector, if you've got the step, through there. I'm gonna get my nuts on and I'll come give you a hand there. So now the bumper's set on here. The nuts are just started, kind of finger tight. Next step, actually one thing to watch out for is just make sure you're not pinching anything back here where we put that wiring harness across. We're gonna install these 2 fasteners finger tight. We're gonna position the bumper exactly where we want it, and we're gonna snug it in place. So we'll start with these. So this bumper connects in 3 places. Most bumpers just connect on the sides, but this one also ties into the trailer hitch for maximum strength. Once the bumper is aligned, we are going to tighten these right down and then torque to 55 foot-pounds. And connect the bumper wiring harness. And then lastly, what we like to do just to get the fit and finish dialed is adjust the exhaust so it fits well with the bumper and the mount. So to do that, these are on a ball socket here, 13 mil. Loosen that off, and we're gonna push that higher. It'll give you a little bit more clearance on the trail, and it'll just complete the look as well. So get it to where you like it. And tighten that back down. And we'll do the same for the passenger side. As you guys can see, we're on the home stretch. Last 2 fasteners to tighten here. Again, make sure there's no wiring behind that's going to pinch it. And these don't need to be crazy tight, just snug them up with a 3/8 drive ratchet. Some really clean OEM style license plate snaps that just plug in right on these square holes here. And lastly, we're going to attach our license plate in place with the new hardware we provide. So we're done. Just go over all the important bolts again, make sure everything's tight, everything's aligned, nothing's loose, no wires are pinched. Otherwise, you guys are good to go. Enjoy. The new look is it's aggressive. So if you're off-roading, you've got way more clearance in here to do that. Even if you're not off-roading, it still is a great look. Differentiates you from your neighbor down the street, also driving a 1500. So yeah, make all the other dads jealous. Enjoy.